If you could choose one superpower, what would most of us pick? Not flight, not invisibility, but a phenomenal intelligence. The ability to see patterns, to solve any problem, to understand the complexities of the universe. Intelligence is seen as the pinnacle of evolution, the golden ticket to a life of success, wealth, and meaning. We have a default assumption that smarter people lead better lives, that a high IQ is an indicator of high happiness. But that is a belief built on a dangerous premise. What if the brightest light casts the darkest shadow? The real forbidden question isn't how to become smarter. It is intelligence the key that unlocks the door to happiness? Or is it the architect of a more sophisticated prison? Think of a boy named Leo. From a young age, Leo was a prodigy. He could assemble complex models without instruction manuals. He saw mathematical patterns in flowers, logic in music. The world was a giant puzzle, and he was a master solver. Everyone admired him. His parents were proud. His teachers had high hopes. But as he grew older, Leo's superpower began to show its side effects. He couldn't turn off his analytical brain. When he heard a joke, instead of laughing, a part of his brain would dissect its structure and absurdity. When he received a compliment, he would analyze the motive behind it. Relationships became difficult. He saw too clearly the contradictions in people's words and actions. He craved deep connections. But his brain was always finding reasons to doubt, to keep a distance. One day he passed the playground and saw a child laughing with pure, unadulterated joy, simply because their balloon was flying up to the sky. There was no analysis, no judgment, just a moment of raw, primal happiness. In that instant, Leo realized something terrifying. His brain allowed him to understand the world, but it also prevented him from experiencing it. He could see the structure of everything, but he couldn't feel the beauty of it. He had a superior intellect, but lacked something far more fundamental: peace of mind. Leo's tragedy is not a work of fiction. It's reflected in multiple fields of science. Psychologically, people with high IQ have a higher tendency toward generalized anxiety disorder. They have the ability to imagine more negative scenarios, to overthink minor issues, and to feel the world's absurdity and injustice more keenly. The Polish psychologist Kazimierz Dąbrowski called this overexcitability, a common trait among gifted individuals. Research has also shown a correlation between high IQ and existential loneliness. When you have an inner world that is vastly complex, finding someone who can truly understand and connect on the same frequency becomes incredibly difficult. Intelligence can be an island. Added to this is the burden of potential. A person of superior intellect often feels an invisible pressure to do great things, to change the world. Anything less feels like a failure. Simple, ordinary happiness can seem like an insufficiently ambitious goal. History is filled with examples of geniuses who struggle with their mental health, from Virginia Woolf and Ernest Hemingway to David Foster Wallace. Their intellect allowed them to create timeless works, but it also seemed to come at a great personal cost. It seems the phrase "ignorance is bliss" contains a kernel of brutal truth. So, is the conclusion that being smarter means being more miserable? Is it an unavoidable trade-off? This is where we must pause, because we have fallen into a linguistic trap. We have equated processing intelligence with wisdom. Here is the twist. Intelligence is not the cause of unhappiness. The lack of wisdom in using that intelligence is. Think of intelligence as an incredibly sharp knife. In the hands of someone who doesn't know how to use it, it will injure them and those around them. That was Leo in our story. He used his sharp knife to dissect everything, including flowers and relationships, until they were nothing but component parts. But in the hands of a master surgeon, that same knife can save a life, healing the most complex wounds. That surgeon is the one who has wisdom. A truly wise person doesn't just use their intelligence to analyze the external world. They use it to analyze themselves. They use logic to understand their own illogical emotions. They use pattern recognition to break their own negative habits. They use foresight to choose actions that lead to long-term peace rather than short-term gratification. Leo's problem wasn't that he was too smart. It was that he hadn't turned his intelligence inward. Happiness isn't the result of having fewer thoughts. It's the result of having higher quality thoughts. A powerful brain isn't a curse. It's a powerful tool. And like all powerful tools, it requires practice and skill to be used well. The liberation for an intelligent person doesn't lie in trying to become dumber to enjoy simple pleasures. It lies in reaching a higher tier of intelligence, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, compassion. Intelligence can tell you how a flower is constructed, but wisdom allows you to stop analyzing and simply admire its beauty. Intelligence can help you win an argument, but wisdom helps you recognize when to stay silent to preserve a relationship. The ultimate question isn't, are smart people happier, but what kind of smart are you training to be? The kind that can decipher the world, or the kind that can live in harmony with it? All of us have a knife in our hands. It may not be as sharp as a genius's, but it's sharp enough to help or harm ourselves. My question for you today: think of 2 moments. 1. A time when your intelligence got in the way of your happiness, when you overanalyzed the simple joy. And 2. A time when your intelligence saved you, when you used your reason to navigate a chaotic emotion. What does this struggle say about your relationship with your own brain? Please share, because learning to use our most powerful tool is a task no one can do alone.